Yeah, absolutely. It was a real unfortunate start for them with both No Tail and Fly getting picked off, and Fly had to skill Frost Nova first, didn't get the sacrifice. Really unfortunate, and then they're already behind in lanes with the Timbersaw having a great matchup against the Alchemist.
Yeah. Couple of big plays in there, and notably from Fada with the great plays, and also Matumba Man just going absolutely crazy in that game.
Yeah, I saw kind of the approach what OG wanted to do, but I think that picking the Alchemist so early was massively detrimental to them. They revealed their card right away, and Liquid had multiple heroes to be able to respond to it. They already had the Disruptor, which is looking absolutely, I could even say, broken at this point when Jerax is playing it, because these glimpses were unbelievable. He was in the perfect spot every single time. But revealing your Alchemist so early, you, like I'm saying, you get yourself susceptible to this Timbersaw, the Ursa. And I think them banning out the Weaver may have actually been a little bit of like, oh man, we saw Mind Control play the Weaver, we're a bit afraid of it. And then, oh man, we forgot about the Ursa on Dire.
Yeah.
And it really just punished them heavily.
Yeah, they seem to have found some solutions to this Lifestealer. It's been a dominant hero for the last 3 weeks basically here in Manila. 70% win rate all the way through.
Yeah, I think the nicest thing for Liquid that game was that both of their picks covered both of the cores of the enemy team. Like, Ursa was good against Alchemist, and it was good against Lifestealer. Yeah. And because they picked the Alch so early, they knew it was a perfect pick. It's always going to be good against Lifestealer. At some point, it's going to be very good against Alchemist. And on top of that, they also had Timbersaw, which lowers their strength temporarily and just does so much pure damage. I loved his skill build that game. That's what you need to do against an Alchemist. Yeah. And because their aggressive trialing didn't go very well, he was able to pressure him a lot by himself. It was really good, actually, that Liquid didn't get Dragon Knight. I don't know if they would have picked it over Timber, but Timber was clearly the right pick there.
Kuroki's drafting prowess in this game was spectacular, like almost impeccable. Everything that he did there he had a clear plan against the Lifestealer. You could tell, like instantly picking the Ricky Slardar. The Slardar was, we've been seeing it. It's been super dominant, especially in the hands of Mind Control. But you could just tell he had this master plan. Like we look at Kuro and we just think that, master plan Kuro.
Yeah. Are you sure it was master plan? I thought it was more like that they just wanted it more.
But just coming back to the sports metaphors, we like those.
Not only was it just his drafting, Kuroki's positioning on that Ricky and his smoke clouds really hindered the Nakes, and his positioning allowed Jerax to get those glimpses off on all those heroes, constantly following OG's heroes, scouting out like that one glimpse on No Tail around the Radiant Secret Shop. He had the haste ruin, thought he got away, but no. Kuro scouted him out, blinks on top of him, gets the glimpse, dead.
Yeah. And another cool thing about Ricky that I just thought about now is that you saw Kuro die sometimes by himself, and normally you say, oh, the hero's dead, that's a bad thing. Compared to Bounty Hunter, normally Bounty Hunter, if he's doing well, he gets a lot of gold from track. Ricky doesn't. He just stays low net worth, but his contribution is always there. So even if he does get a little overly aggressive, if he dies for a scout, it doesn't give the enemy team as much gold as it would if he was a bounty hunter. So there's a lot of ways that Ricky is really good in games like these.
Right from the off, these two decided that they were a couple of heavyweight fighters and they just wanted to slug it out in round one.
Yeah, and this is so sad. Fly skills Frost Nova, doesn't get a kill, still dies, and then has to go to the offlane. They do get a kill on the Ursa after they come back, but your lane, the purpose of picking Lich in that lane is just gone now because you don't have sacrifice at level 1.
Yeah, and we were kind of like bantering about it during the game as well. Like Lifestealer into Ursa in the same lane versus each other, Ursa really just eats him alive, especially like we were commenting how well silence works versus Lifestealer. He can't get his rage off, he just gets ran down.
They've run the Ursa before, again very successfully, and they did it at Epicenter as well, I believe, and yet no one else seems to have picked up on this.
Well, they haven't picked it that many times this tournament. They
just once.
Just once. It was against MVP, and that was when MVP used their Spirit Bomb on them and they lost. But I think a lot of teams have forgot about they have that option here.
Yeah, here at this point, it's pretty heavily favored in Liquid in this team fight. They get a beautiful Chain Frost off, but Fata has so many Bloodstone charges, he dies, and he comes back in about 30 seconds back to this fight. The fight prolongs until he gets there, and he ends up getting multiple kills. Everybody is so survivable. They have the Aegis, and I think actually No Tail may have
They got lucky.
He accidentally turned off his
Right
Radiance,
there.
but they did get lucky killing the Lifestealer with that pounce from Kuroki.
Yeah, that was really huge.
Yeah, I want to give credit to Kuro again. The Lifestealer smokes was another great counter to OG's draft. You saw so many times the Alchemist starts charging, to try and counter-initiate, and oh no, I'm in a Ricky smoke cloud. I'm going to stun myself. I can't do anything.
Yeah, and it was. I really want to say it was really unfortunate for Moon because they did that aggressive tri-lane thing and they put Moon in the short lane. And his the first three roars that he used were pretty unsuccessful. The first one he was forced to use a roar to save himself because mind control was roaming on him. The second one, I think it was just like stopping a TP.
He roared a Disruptor.
Yeah, he roared a Disruptor who was TPing out. They used a Chain Frost as well. 2 ults committed for a support hero. Then he ulted a Ricky Maru, which is also not like the most high value kill. It was just like, it wasn't like, oh man, it's all his fault or anything. It was just very unfortunate scenarios for him not being able to find the opportunities when they put him in the short lane.
And if the laning stage went better, he might have gotten more value out of those. They did kill Matoma Man in the laning stage once, but I think that was about it. Like, they just constantly had the upper hand in team fights, starting from the 12-minute mark and on.
Really, it was almost... OG was on the back foot starting at minute 0 with the unfortunate 2 deaths.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they wanted to do an aggro tri-lane like you were talking about with the sacrifice from the Lich, with the armor from the Lich, and he has Frost Nova level 1, so it really changes the whole dynamic of everything that you kind of had, that you may have had planned in your draft. Like, they could have been like, oh man, this really messes with us, we have to try to adapt, and it just becomes extremely difficult for you at that point.
Final throws of the game at this point. I mean, was there any way back for OG at this point? I mean, commentary was, it was pretty much that they're doomed unless they can get some kind of lucky edge on here or pick off some hero that came towards the base. But there was nothing they could do there, was there?
It was just so difficult. Like, Matumba gets that sneak Roshan, he gets the Aegis, he gets his own advantage in the early parts of the game. We could see how like far behind OG really was, and like we were talking about, they overcommitted a few ultimates, 1 or 2 of the times that we felt, and it punished them so heavily because Liquid had this constant fighting draft. It was no ultimates. They only had Disruptor ulti, but I feel like Disruptor ulti may have been significant, but the glimpse was way more significant in this game. And just I have to say, like, the communication that have to been going on during this game from Liquid had to been so on point. Like, dude, I have glimpse, keep vision. Like, Fata was diving onto the high ground and stuff just to give the vision for those glimpses. Like, the communication just had to be spot on.
Yeah. All right. Players are coming back out, as you can see, heading towards their booths for game number 2. In the meantime, we're going to wait for the draft to start, and we'll take a few more social media questions. It's been a very popular part of our show.